We have entered an era where the atmosphere routinely shatters the expected. Localized tornadoes and flash floods strike landscapes with no memory of such violence. In the American West, terrifying wildfires now roar directly onto public beaches, while in the Sundarbans of the Bay of Bengal, rising tides regularly dissolve entire villages, leaving the inhabitants to navigate a world that is literally disappearing. Our default reflex is to process this physical trauma through abstract projections and data models. We attempt to quantify the chaos, relying on rationalist logic to explain the instability. Amitav Ghosh identifies this as the Great Derangement, a condition where the sheer scale of the climate crisis exceeds the capacity of modern realistic fiction and rational thought to fully comprehend it. Amitav Ghosh wrote his novel Gun Island as a direct intervention in this failure of imagination. The novel suggests that understanding the Anthropocene, the epoch defined by human impact on the Earth, requires us to move beyond the boundaries of Western realism. To grasp the true magnitude of planetary change, we must look to the older narrative tools of folklore and myth. The story follows Dean, a skeptical dealer of rare books. He embodies the rational observer whose worldview is tested by visceral, unexplainable realities of the Sundarbans. Dean's skepticism is challenged by a group of women who provide a critical eco-feminist perspective, bridging empirical science with deep traditional environmental knowledge. They guide him toward a 17th-century legend involving a gun merchant and Manasa Devi, the goddess of snakes and spirits. The myth centers on a cycle of ecological retribution. When human commerce and arrogance defy the natural world, the environment itself turns against the transgressor. In the novel, this legend functions as the operational map needed to navigate a world where the boundary between the human and the non-human has collapsed. Overlaying this ancient myth onto the modern crisis connects random catastrophes into a single, coherent narrative. The climate refugees currently fleeing the Sundarbans for the Venetian lagoons mirror the legendary merchant's original voyage of exile across the seas. This connection extends to the non-human world. The novel depicts mass migrations of dolphins and spiders that mirror the human journey, suggesting a shared planetary trauma that transcends species. These erratic behaviors and displaced populations follow an ancient, recurring ecological pattern of movement driven by a planet in distress. The novel traces this instability to the 17th century, when the Little Ice Age collided with rising modern rationalism and colonial trade. The research indicates these forces prioritized extracting the natural world and subjugating marginalized people over ecological balance. We cannot hope to resolve a planetary disaster by relying on the same rationalist tools of exploitation that originally triggered it. Gun Island portrays this crisis as an interconnected drama where human and non-human lives are inextricably linked. We must re-enchant our worldview to survive. This requires recognizing that the Earth and its inhabitants possess their own agency. They are not merely resources, but active participants in our shared history. While scientific data maps the warming of the planet, the ancient technology of storytelling allows us to understand what that change means for our humanity.